Hello there, and welcome to this Filbert Flies review of UK2000's Bristol scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. You join me here on approach in the A320 NEO to runway 27 at Bristol, and I'm starting with the approach so that you can have a look at the surrounding scenery and also get a feel for the performance of this add-on. So I'm running an i7-8700K processor with 32GB of RAM and a 1080 Ti graphics card. The performance so far has been really pretty good. I have had the odd stutter. I don't know if that's a sim issue, if it's an issue with the scenery, but it certainly hasn't been anything that has affected my enjoyment of the product so far. So I'll finish the approach and I will join you again at a gate when we will have a look around the airport together in different weather and lighting conditions, and I'll give you my opinion on it.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard 5.
So here we are parked up at gate 23, and before we take a look around the airport I just want to give you a little bit of background about my experience of UK2000 sceneries. I've been using UK2000 products probably for more than 20 years now, and they've always been of a consistently good quality. They've never been groundbreaking, they've never been the first to use new technology such as parallax windows or detailed terminal interiors, but they've always been excellent at creating the atmosphere of an airport, and this one is no exception. If we move over to the terminal building, I'll show you what I mean. So while we don't have transparent glass and modelled terminal interiors here, we do have really high quality texturing. You'll see that the glass panels are reflecting the clouds nicely, and if you're pulling up in an aircraft to this terminal, it really does feel like you're there. The modelling is really high quality as well. You've got a lot of detailing on the buildings, such as these downpipes, and we'll take a spin around and you can get a feel for what this airport looks like. Now there are two options when installing this scenery. You can either have it with or without static aircraft, and I've chosen to have it with static aircraft for now. I may change my mind on that as and when we get realistic, correctly liveried airliners in the sim with the live traffic, or perhaps with an AI add-on. Nicely done logo on the building over here, and you've got the little details like cones and railings, and it looks really nice. Let's move over to the landside area. So the front of the terminal building and the roadway is not going to blow you away with its level of detail. I don't think that's a surprise in particular, but it certainly is the right shape and it looks good. And to be honest, all the airport add-ons that I've looked at have, to a greater or lesser extent, relied on the default ground, and you end up with little anomalies like this, where the terrain mesh isn't quite up to scratch. If we move over to this side, you'll notice we have vehicles parked and general airport clutter like these stairs here. And we've even got a building site over here where presumably they are expanding and upgrading the airport. And being UK2000, you can rest fairly safe in the knowledge that once whatever's being built here has been built, they'll update the scenery to reflect it. again, like so many developers, the airside areas have been concentrated on at the expense of some of the landside areas. And I'll leave it to you to decide how much that matters to you. Let's take a look at the ground texturing. This is an area that I think this add-on excels in. It's incredibly high resolution. You've got different textures. They haven't just cloned the same concrete panel over and over again. You've got scuffs and discoloration, which really brings the airport to life. And the same with the taxiway lines. They're not perfect. They've got little nicks and different colours and stains on them. And that's exactly what I like to see on the ground. If we take a look at the taxiways, again, these are of a really high quality and probably among the best I've seen in an add-on scenery to date. We've got nice sharp edges between the taxiway and the grass, and the grass texture itself is really good. You've got 3D grass as well. Moving over to the runway. Again, I really like things like this. You've got an old taxiway centreline that's been scrubbed out, but you can still see the remnants of. And the runway itself has scuffs, tyre marks, bits of discoloration, and generally looks like a runway at a well-used airport. So, very good so far. Over here we have a bizjet and general aviation area. And they've done a really nice job of modelling this too, with the static aircraft parked up higgledy-piggledy on the grass, the texturing, and the modelling of the hangars and what I presume is the FBO building. One of the other things I like about this airport is the number of cars that you find parked up in the car park. Now in previous sims this was a bit of a no-no because you'd have quite significant loss of frame rate with this level of detailing. But when you're approaching an airport like this, regardless of the low-res ground texture, it's really nice to see cars parked up, and it gives the feel for an airport that's in use, I suppose. And this is what Bristol Airport looks like after dark. I'm quite impressed with the lighting here. The apron lighting looks as I would expect it to, having had a look at a few photos of Bristol at night. And the terminal interiors, they've got that slight green hue which you often get with baked in night textures. But they look alright, they look passable to me. If I was pulling up here an aircraft at night, I would think, yeah, this is an airport terminal lit from the inside. Now this shadow that's appeared here brings me on to one of the less good points about the night lighting at the airport. This weird shadow appearing apparently from nowhere and disappearing again just as quickly happens throughout the airport. I don't know why, but there it is again, and if you get the camera in just the right place it will start flickering and strobing. So that's something that I would like to see fixed, but I'll cut them some slack because this is a new sim, it's an incomplete SDK, and I would imagine they have no idea what's causing this either. So hopefully it's something that will be fixed in time. There you have it again over here. I can't recreate the strobing effect I had earlier, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Ah, there it was. You got a little sense of it there. But enough about that. Overall, the airport at night looks pretty good. We've got taxiway lighting, centerline lighting and edge lighting. And the runway itself is lit up with the lights highlighting the undulating nature of it quite nicely. Here we have Bristol Airport in the rain. And as you can see, the ground textures look really rather good when they're wet. We've got the standard reflection that you would expect at any Microsoft Flight Simulator airport. And it really does feel like you're in the middle of a rainstorm. If we move over to the taxiways, again, you have this same repeating puddle effect that you have in all sceneries at the moment. And it's pretty good. And the same on the runway. And this being the UK, you will experience a fair bit of inclement weather if you fly into and out of Bristol often. The way snow has been implemented in this scenery is a little bit odd, if I'm honest. You'll notice that the apron area is completely covered with snow. There's been no attempt to clear the aircraft stands or anything like that. And then there's a very definite line where the snow settling ends here. And we have no snow at all on the taxiways or the runway. If you come over here, you'll notice that again you have that very definite line halfway onto this aircraft's parking stand. So that is a little bit of a shame, and that's something that I hope will be worked on in future updates. On the grassy areas, the snow is really impressive though. It does look as you would expect snow-covered grass to look. UK2000's Bristol HD Airport is available to purchase directly from their website. I'll put a link in the description below. It's £18.49 at the time of publishing. And what do I think of it for this price? Well, it is slightly more expensive than other developers' sceneries. UK2000 has traditionally been one of the cheaper options, and what has happened with the advent of Microsoft Flight Simulator is that developers have seen a much larger market and they've dropped their prices to match. UK2000 hasn't done that. They've kept their pricing the same as for their HD range in Prepared and X-Plane. And I think the reason for that is that there just probably isn't a huge market for regional UK airports. But if that is what you're looking for, then honestly I would really recommend this scenery. I love the terminal buildings, the modelling, I like the texturing a lot, and I love the atmosphere. It's something I can't quite put my finger on, but something that UK2000 have excelled at for as long as they've been in existence. Something about the way the airport fits together. It's not bright and gaudy, it just feels right. It feels like you're there. So the only negative points are, as I said, the flickering night lighting and the random shadows, which I showed you earlier, and the snow isn't the best. But if you can overlook those, and I certainly can, I think this is a pretty solid purchase. You've got some interesting airliner routes out of here, you've also got GA possibilities, and it's a beautiful part of the UK. I hope you found this review useful. If you have, please click the like button and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more of this sort of thing. And I hope to see you again soon here on Philbert Flies. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.